Well, greetings, vinyl community, and welcome to VC Friday. I'm your host, Michael P. Dawson, and today the P stands for Prague, because I'll be talking about night music from Daryl Way's Wolf. This is the third and final album from Daryl Way's Wolf, released in 1974 on the Darum label. This is a British pressing. None of the Daryl Way's Wolf albums were released in the United States. This is also the first album by Daryl Way's Wolf to feature a dedicated singer, who is John Hodkinson, also known as J.W. Hodkinson, formerly of the excellent jazz rock band If. And Wolf is kind of a prog rock supergroup because in addition to featuring the former members of If and Daryl Way from Curved Air, where he played the violin and the keyboards, the band consists of John Etheridge on guitar, who would go on to join Soft Machine and indeed is playing with Soft Machine to this day. Ian Mosley, who would go on to play the drums for Trace and then Steve Hackett's band, and then in the 80s he found a home with Marillion, where again he remains to this day. On bass there is Dec Messikar, who would later go on to join Caravan. So there's a lot of future prog rock luminaries here. Maybe it's a supergroup in reverse. This is very good, straight-ahead progressive rock with the emphasis on the rock. And we also have elements of jazz in there, certainly with John Etheridge's superb guitar playing, and classical influences, of course, from Daryl Way's violin. Cover art is by Hypnosis, and it looks like John Etheridge is wearing some strange eye makeup there. I think he may have just failed his audition for Kiss. And there you go. Daryl Way's Wolf with Night Music from 1974.
Seize all the souls of men forsake of loss. For I will have contention put to shame, and all the hearts of all things comforted. There are no laws but mine on land and sea, and men shall crown me when their kings are dead.
Next, we have the 1971 album Obsolete by Dashiell Hedayat. This is the only album by Dashiell Hedayat, at least under that name, but hoo boy does it have a complicated backstory. Dashiell Hedayat was born Daniel Theron in 1947 in Paris. He is not best known as a musician. He's best known as a writer and critic. Under the name Dashiell Hedayat, he wrote a translation of Bob Dylan's Tarantula, but he's best known under the pseudonym Jacques-Alain Léger, under which he wrote some popular novels. But throughout his career, he used numerous different pseudonyms all through his life, and this was because he found the idea of using his father's name intolerable, which is interesting because his father himself wrote literary criticism under a pseudonym. But this went on until 2013, when Dashiell Hedayat or Jacques-Alain Léger or Daniel Theron jumped out an 8th-story window, and that was the end of the pseudonyms. Dashiell Hedayat, the name, comes from the American writer Dashiell Hammett and the Iranian writer Sadegh Hedayat. Now, I said that this was the only Dashiell Hedayat album, but there is another album by this person. Not surprisingly, it's under a different name. It's under the name Melmoth, and I've never seen that one. But this one is fairly well known because the backing band is Gong. We have David Allen on guitar, Didier Malherbe on flutes and saxophones, Pip Pyle on drums, Gilly Smith on Wet Pleasure Shout and Intergalactic Whisper, which is a very good description of what she does, and Christian Tritsch on bass and acoustic guitar. Also credited is Sam Wyatt, the 5-year-old son of Robert Wyatt, who contributes vocally to the album, and William Burroughs, vocals on Long Song for Zelda. We actually hear at the very end of side 1 a segment of William Burroughs speaking. And Dashiell Hedayat himself plays solo guitar, all lead vocals, keyboards, Cosmic Hedayat rumble, and cut-ups. So, with the credit for cut-ups and the presence of William Burroughs, we've got that kind of beat influence. And with the presence of the members of Gong, we have a real space rock influence. The album has 2 side-long pieces. Side 1 is titled, Mushroom, Will You Mush My Room? Little psychedelic there. That is divided actually into 3 segments: Chrysler, Fil de l'Ombre, or Shadow Girl, and Long Song for Zelda. And in between Chrysler and Fil de l'Ombre, we have a little snippet of music that is the theme from Juliet of the Spirits, composed by Nino Rota. And side 2 is a long piece titled Cielo Drive /17. All of it featuring space jams from the Gong members, mostly spoken word vocals from Mr. Hedayat or Theron or Léger or whoever he is himself, and a nice textured album cover. This is on the Chandar label from France. Nice color. I like this color. I like this texture. Just a cool little artifact. Not the most advanced music. It's more fun to listen to the Gong members in the background space jamming away than anything that's actually happening compositionally. But very fun album. Obsolete by Dashiell Hedayat.
Protégé par la poussière des verrières, le soleil, entre les griffes du chat qui dort, le reflet tend vers mouillé. Des queues de comètes, dans tes cheveux, des anneaux de Saturne à chaque doigt, des larmes qui sont comme autant de Nova. Du soleil dans le grenier, des chats dans l'escalier, des sous-assis, leurs griffes dans lesquelles il faut passer. En haut au grenier, ton sourire mouillé, ta lèvre.
Now, to follow those 70s prog albums, I have some new releases to show. This one came out a few months ago, earlier this year. This is a collaboration album, Paper Masks, by the Japanese avant-garde singer-musician Few. And, well, speaking of musicians who use pseudonyms, Few was born Hiromi Moritani, and the American-born Danielle De Picciotto, who lives in Germany. Few got her start in the 70s fronting the punk band Aunt Sally, and then she went on to work with the likes of Reiichi Sakamoto and Connie Plank and members of Can. Danielle De Picciotto is one of the founders of the Berlin Love Parade, the electronic dance festival. So this album is made by just the two of them, both on voices and few also on electronic sounds. It's a very quiet album, really. It's just the like computer electronics and all the lyrics. They're all vocal tracks with lyrics that alternate between English and German. And I believe that Daniele Di Picciotto is the main vocalist, but both use their voices. And we have this sort of jellyfish thingy on the cover. The album itself is pressed on jellyfish-colored vinyl. I think that's ultra cool. I'm not sure how well that's going to come out on screen. Sort of interesting marbling. I think the jellyfishy color is carried on the inner sleeve, this sort of pale mauve color with white printing on it. That's really highly illegible. So good luck reading either the German or the English lyrics. Oh, the German lyrics also do have English translations. So you don't have to be bi to follow it. Yeah, that's a very subtle color combination, the white on jellyfish or mauve or whatever you want to call that color. And I've got to say that if you're a cat lover, the opening track, The Cat, is definitely going to be up your alley. Very sweet.
I trail you to the river, and we gaze at minnows with glazed eyes and sharpened claws.
Next, I have another duo LP. This is a brand new release from Ambros Akinmusiri, the great trumpet player, with Mary Halvorson on guitar. I've talked about Mary Halvorson a number of times on the channel and her slippy slidey pitch bending tricks on the electric guitar. Ambros Akinmusiri is a much lauded trumpet player, formerly recorded for Blue Note, now on Nonesuch, who released this album. He was named the Jazz Artist of the Year in 2011 by Downbeat, and he is from Oakland, California, just across the bay from where I am. This album is Slow Mo Neon Luminate Hoverings. And if that isn't a good description of the music, I don't know what is. Definitely there's a meditative and thoughtful aspect to this. The title track really does give a clue to the overall ambient vibe of the music, as well as other titles like Water Smoke, Tangled Pretty, Blood and Sand, This Vivid, Prelude in the Ash. Duets for trumpet and guitar by Ambros Akinmusiri and Mary Halvorson. finally, another brand new release. And if those last two were both kind of ambient in nature, this one is super ambient. This is by the Dutch collective, as they call themselves, Van der Velde. And they are the two multidisciplinary artists, Phil van Dulm and Alexander Bartels. And this is the third album in a trilogy. This is Ghosts Beneath the Brine. I love this artwork. The previous albums in the trilogy were Black Clouds Above the Bows, which was a CD-only release, and then the vinyl release All Hands Bury the Cliffs at Sea. Those were in 2022 and 2023 respectively. And all three of the albums have a theme of ecological concerns with regards to the interface between the sea and the land, coastal areas, and the emergency, the tragedies that are taking place in that part of our world and indeed in all parts of our world today. And the overarching sound world of this is based on symbols. I'll read from their own notes here. The instruments were submerged in seawater for extended periods of time and played with a bow at various stages of corrosion. As the bronze alloy gradually reacted with the salt water, their sound transformed, becoming darker, more fragile, and unstable. Over time, the metal began to sing in ghostly overtones, as if haunted by the waters that shaped it. Much like large groups of fish shimmering beneath the surface, the symbols slowly lost their shine, both sonically and physically, as salt and time took hold. And the full instrumentation list they give as cymbals, submerged, corroded, played with bow and mallet, cello, voice, bowed piano, Osmos synthesizer, modular synthesizer, and field recordings. So that'll give you the idea that this is not real pop music from Van der Velde. This is a brand new release from 2026 on the Important Records label. That's VC Friday. Thanks very much for watching. Be well, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye-bye for now.